Hello, welcome to the GEZE product presentation. My name is Daniel Streit, Product Manager for Sensors and Actuation Devices. In this video, we will present you the swing door sensors GC342 and GC342+. We can say that after the introduction of the GC342, we can say that this is really the most flexible sensor that we have ever seen. So we have a really very dense detection field. We have an integrated wall blanking function similar to the GC338 sensor strip. But in addition to that, you also have a better secondary closing edge protection, a dynamic detection field extension. That means during the opening and closing cycle of the door, the field extends accordingly, making a higher, a safer detection, you could say, of the door and the usage of the door. Compared to the other sensors, we can also say that we have here the shortest commissioning as time to date as well. And here we see the new GC342+, which brings a large detection area, which also not only has this additional safety purposes, but also provides a protection of the drive mechanism. We're going to see that later in a video. Here we will compare a single leaf door and the necessity of safety on that door. That means we can take a look at the GC338 1200 millimeters, 1500 millimeters, the GC342 kit, which is basically GC342 left and right, and the combination of a GC342 and a GC342+. So here we see different possibilities. The door width leads basically to the point, which kind of sensor do I need the best. So up to 200 millimeters, GC338 is the right one. A door width of 1600 millimeters, you can start to choose between the 1500 millimeter GC338 or a GC342 solution. The maximum mounting height, it's on the 338 about 3.5 meters, while on the laser scanners we have a higher detection field, but this also depends on the door width that we have. This we will see also at a later stage. A problem that always occurs is the vertical handlebar. So when you have a vertical handlebar, we're talking here about optical sensors. That means the optics means I have something in front of me and I cannot look behind it. And this applies to all sensors that we have in our portfolio or the portfolio ever. And this states here on the pricing means that you need to invest a little bit more. If you have a larger door, then yes, it would be almost the same, just with a little bit higher price, because you would have modules on both sides. So you had 4 on one side and 4 modules on the other side. And the 342, it's adequate because the 342 does not require any additional features or extras or accessories in order to have a better detection. One important point is the mechanical finger protection on the secondary closing edge. According to standards, it is required to have a finger protection. It's always required. There are some cases where we can discuss due to a deep review, basically, or the edge of the complete opening door is really in line with the walls. Then we can say it's very difficult for a vulnerable person to enter into the danger area. In those cases, it's possible that we say it's really enough to have a sensor watching this danger zone. Concerning the finger protection, the secondary closing edge, we will see also at a later stage, and we also prepared some videos for you. The activation feature As you know, you have also a lot of swing doors in your markets, and the swing doors operators, you also have the possibility to use a function called SIS and K. So this means the closing area, the closing sensor can be used for activation, for a touchless activation. It means the door is closed and you just put your hand in that area and the door opens accordingly. This only exists for the closing sensor, not for the opening. Why not for the opening? Because you're standing in front of the door. If you activate, the door will come towards you, detection is safety, and the door will stop. So it only makes sense on this side. And the GC342 Plus has an additional relay. So the sensor can also send an information to the door for activation purposes. Mounting and commissioning effort. Yes, definitely. Both of these sensors really are taught in 50%, half the time compared to a GC338 or 334 or whatever other sensor strip. And if you really have a handlebar, a vertical handlebar, then you really save maybe a third of the commissioning time. So there's no need to tweak here and there and etc. You can also see that a combination of this 342 and 342 Plus is slightly higher. That means in these cases it would also be possible to save the finger protection feature in that case. But as I said, we'll see this in a later stage. We can say that we really have a perfect safety here. The sensor has a very, very dense light curtain or laser curtain, and you have in each sensor you have a gyroscope, and both of them, when connected to each other, communicate in which direction is the door moving, outward, inward, opening or closing. And with this communication, the sensors specify who is the one in opening safety and who is the one in closing safety. Right. So here on the top you can see that the sensor positioned on the hinge side has two areas. Basically, in front of the door is the opening safety, and when closing on the secondary edge, we have here the closing safety. That means when the door is closing and someone puts the hand in between there in that danger area, the door normally would continue to close and maybe crush the finger. In that case, the sensor or the door stops with its movement and opens back again. So I can remove my hand from the danger zone. The integrated wall blanking, we also mentioned it. And also very interesting is that we have an extension of the safety field. So according to the door opening angle, this sensor area opens more or closes more. So that means when I try to go through the door, my hand is detected first, the door will stop and can reverse again and open again. From the features, I have mentioned all of them except for the 342 with the larger detection area. Here you can see on the image that the area is really, really high. That means a person standing under the door will be recognized by these sensors and the door will not stop, and the door will not close back again. And the 342 Plus can be used also for door activation purposes. So in the image on the right side, you can also not only use the individual light curtains for activation of the door, but you can also define certain areas, a maximum of 2 areas as shown here in the image. Means you can also make a touchless activation by a hand or foot even. The most important thing is that the 342 Plus must be connected to the door operator as the master, because only then the relay of input, of activation, really can be sent to the door operator. We have prepared a small movie to show you basically this bigger, larger area, and you will see a colleague going under a door, and he will be checking his phone, basically stop, and the sensor will notice if when the person is standing there. So you please note the reaction of the door, not of the person. So first the 3-4-2, as we know it from today. Standing under the lintel or door reveal. The door closes, detects the person, stops and reopens again. The person would be standing there, the door would close and open back again. Now the same thing with the GEZE 342 Plus. Person is standing there, and the sensor sees the person standing under the door, and nothing happens. The door will only close as soon as the area is free. This is also an argument for elderly persons that may be frightened when they see a door coming towards them. So this is also a good argument for using a 342 Plus with the larger detection area. In addition to the IP rate, we can say on both the sensors, the fields here on the bottom, the laser windows, they're basically pre-treated against the condensation. This is something that is important. For example, you have a door, an outside door, and the inner part of the door is warm, being in the building, and the door opens to the outside where it's cold. And in other sensors, you will have a condensation, so you will have a little bit of water drops in the window. In this case, this does not happen. Additionally, you have here a small motor, basically to turn around the laser mirrors, and this makes it also a little bit warm within the sensor. So there's also almost no problem having the condensation build up inside the sensor. And concerning water droplets, when it's, for example, raining, then you can also see that the laser window is protected. So all water droplets will follow accordingly down and will not come up on the sensor window. And here you see the same. That's basically it. And here's the same thing. If you have basically this part here, you have the cables coming from the door, so you will not have the corrugated hose coming to the sensor. So this is closed. Nevertheless, when it's really down, you can really have here there's a small gap where you can push up the sensor hood accordingly. Mounting position, it's clear that the sensor has to be on the hinge side. From that point on, it's going to make its safety detection, but you can also mount the sensor 250 millimeters away, so more to the right from my side here. This means also that due to the fact that the secondary closing edge, we only have the 16-degree angle, that this is going to move as well by 250 millimeters right to the right. So you will have a bigger danger zone in this area of the hinge or opposite hinge side. Always important to screw all 3 screws accordingly, so you don't have any movement of the sensor during door opening, or when the corrugated hose is maybe pulling a little bit on the sensor. You don't want to have a misdirection of the laser during opening and closing. You can glue it to glass if required, and you can also connect it to the fire doors. In the case that you're not allowed to drill through the fire doors, then you would need to connect the sensors individually as masters to the door operator. One very nice thing is that the 342 Plus has an integrated shielding, if you can see here. So you have a small metal, very fine metal, integrated in the sensor. This comes as a standard. It's unfortunately only available for the 342 Plus, and this is very interesting when you have a radar, which is basically sitting above the hinge side, on hinge height, and the radar detector sees the movement of the laser scanner. It is a turning movement of the mirrors, and this movement activates a radar that is sitting on the top. So this avoids that triggering of the radar. And in general, we say it is best to position the radar about 200, 300 millimeters above the laser scanner. If you have to go below, then this should be no problem for the 342 Plus. And for the 342, we have then this protection cover as well. Okay, let's take a look at the detection field. The radius, this is basically where it starts from the mirrors, from the rotating mirrors. From that point on, the laser scanner can detect up to 4 meters distance. So the maximum mounting height depends also on the door width. So we're talking about this maximum distance here can be 4 meters. And in that case, this means the door width as being 1000 millimeters allow a maximum mounting height of 3.87 meters. While as you have a very wide door with 1600 millimeters, the maximum mounting height is reduced down to 3650 millimeters. We also have an uncovered zone, which is called, which basically ignores everything 10 centimeters above the floor. So everything what is sitting down here, up there, up to 10 centimeters, is ignored by the sensor. This could be leaves, this could be snow, things like that. So everything is pushed away accordingly and will not lead to a detection of the sensor. This uncovered zone can also be reprogrammed, readjusted via the remote control. So you can reduce it if you want, or make it a little bit higher. But most important is that you use the test body to check if everything is according to standard. The button function, which is also an activation type, I just mentioned, you can, additionally to the curtains, you can also teach 2 positions wherever you want them to be for an opening activation. It's also even possible, according to the manual, that these areas can be outside of the safety area. That means up to the main closing edge. And in addition to that, this area can also be taught for activation purposes. And this really makes only sense if you are positioned on the opposite hinge side. Because if you're on the hinge side, the door will open towards you. Makes no sense. Finger guards. Well, a good point. According to the safety analysis, it's ensured that lateral access to the secondary closing edge, this is what NSK means, is prevented. So either you have a deep door reveal or a wall 90 degrees to the door, then we can talk about, okay, even if there are vulnerable persons nearby, there is no possibility to enter the danger zone with the finger or fall into the danger zone. So these are the cases. But if we see here in the image, then you don't have any walls, you don't have any door reveal, deep door reveal, then it can be possible to be touched by the door. We've made some videos to demonstrate this to you. So we will first show the GEZE 342 and afterwards the 342 Plus in comparison. So here you see our test body. The 342 closes the door. Doesn't see our test body. You see with my hand movement I activated the door. So also on the bottom position, you see that the door closes completely. Fingers wouldn't have been recognized. Poor pretzel is being crushed. Now we have a deeper door reveal. We made the same tests on a different door with a GC342. And you can see now it is difficult to get into the danger zone and the sensor will not see you. Due to the 16 degrees that we have, you can see the door still closes on that part. So we still have a resting danger part on the top. Right. Good. So many people were asking about this, the 342, is it enough for safety purposes, for the finger protection, etc. And we could show here that it is possible, but only under certain circumstances. We made the same test with the GC342 Plus. Let's take a look at these videos here. So the same door with the 342 Plus. We'll recognize the pretzel and reopen again. Thank you for your attention. I hope you enjoyed this video. Do you still have questions? Leave a comment below or contact us via phone or email. Our experts will be pleased to help you.